As she was walking, she heard a strange sound. When she turned around, to her greatest shock, she saw Botswe transforming into a half-human and half-snake. She quickly hid behind a tree, so he could not see her when he turned around. Ekua was so terrified and shaky. She tried her possible best not to scream or make any noise. Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful princess named Quame. She was the only child of her father. Her father, the king, adored and cherished her so much. Whatever she asked for, he never hesitated to grant to her. Quame had a maid named Ekua, who she was very close to. They were like siblings. Anyone who doesn't know them might think they were siblings. Quame was a very beautiful girl, admired by all the eligible young men in their village and across. Kings from other villages will always bring their son to marry Quame, but she would decline, saying she doesn't like any of them. Her father, the king, was worried about his daughter Quame. He asked her why she always turned down her suitors. She told him that when she sees a man she truly loves, she will bring him home. Her father, the king, accepted and told her to choose her suitor wisely. One day, Quame and her maid Ekua were strolling down the village when a very handsome young man approached them. He was so handsome that no woman would resist his handsome face and his captivating smile. He turned to Quame and said, "You are so beautiful, like the morning sun. Your beauty could make a blind man see." He kept on showering praises on Quame, and this made her blush. Quame smiled and asked him who he was. He replied, saying his name was Boswe, that he is from the neighboring village, that he came to get some fresh fruits from the market. Boswe then told the princess that he will be taking his leave to go to the market to get the fruits before the market woman sells all the fresh fruits. As he was about leaving, Quame told him if they could meet another day. He smiled and said, "Anything for you, my princess." Then he left. When he left, Ekua, the princess maid, smiled and asked Quame why she requested to see him again. Quame told her that she thinks she has finally found the one she loves. They both laughed and left. On their way home, Quame kept on describing the handsome face of Boswe. The next morning, Quame the princess could not hold back her excitement. She called Ekua and told her to accompany her to see Boswe. Ekua smiled and teased her, saying, "I know you did not sleep last night because of Boswe." The princess replied and said to Ekua that no woman in her right senses would see Boswe and won't think of him all night. The princess and her maids then went back to the same spot where she met Boswe to wait for him. Soon, Boswe arrived. The princess was so happy to see him. As Ekua was about leaving to give them some privacy to discuss, she noticed that Boswe was barefooted, and she also remembered that the last time she saw him, he was also barefooted. After the princess and Boswe finished discussing and having their lovely moments, Boswe was about taking his leave when the princess told him she would like to escort him to his village, but he declined and left. When Boswe had left, Ekua told the princess that she noticed Boswe was always barefooted. The princess told Ekua maybe he just doesn't like wearing footwears. Ekua told her who on earth doesn't like wearing footwears. Ekua was unsettled. She was having a bad feeling about Boswe, but did not say anything to the princess. The princess kept on seeing Boswe for some time, until when he declared his intentions of marrying her. Quame was so happy that finally he has said what she has waited patiently to hear from him for so long. She took Boswe to her father the king, who accepted that Boswe could marry his daughter if that would make her happy. He told the king that he would be coming with his people for the marriage rites. When Boswe left the palace, Ekua visited the princess in her room to discuss with her. She told her she's not just comfortable with her marrying Boswe, that she don't even really know it, that they don't really even know each other. And she has not visited his village before, talk more of seeing his family members. The princess told Ekua not to worry, that Boswe meant no harm and was a nice person. The next day, Boswe visited Princess Quame in the palace and was about leaving when the princess insisted Ekua would see him off back home with a fruit basket. Boswe declined and insisted to carry the fruit basket by himself, but the princess insisted that her maid Ekua would carry it for him. On their way to Boswe village, they reached a bush path, and Boswe then told Ekua that she can now go back and no longer accompany him. He thanked her for escorting him, and they both parted ways. When Ekua had walked a few minutes, she then realized she was still carrying the fruit basket and had forgotten to give them to Boswe. She hurriedly went back to give it to him, but could not find him. Ekua was surprised not to find Boswe, because they just parted ways few minutes ago. She then decided to walk down the bush path further to know if she could find Boswe. As she was walking, she heard a strange sound. When she turned around, to her greatest shock, she saw Boswe transforming into a half-human and half-snake. She quickly hid behind a tree, so he could not see her when he turned around. Ekua was so terrified and shaky. She tried her possible best not to scream or make any noise. Boswe then walked further into the thick bush until he was out of sight. When Ekua realized that he had left, she ran as fast as her leg could carry her back to the palace. She went straight to the princess' room to tell her what has happened. The princess was very angry at Ekua. She said to her, "I know you've been having bad feelings about me marrying Boswe, so why go up to this extent of lying to me about him, that he is a monster? You know my marriage is few days from now, and you're trying to ruin it." Ekua turned to the princess with tears in her eyes and said, "Please listen to me as a friend and not a maid. I wouldn't want to destroy your marriage or plan evil for you. We've been friends since childhood. You don't really know this man very well. You've not been to his village before. Talk more of meeting his family." Princess Quame replied and said to Ekua that Boswe will be coming with his family to the palace for the marriage rites. Then she will be meeting his family. Ekua replied and said to her, "Why don't you come with me and see for yourself? Then if I am wrong, you can do whatever you want to me. I saw him turn into a monster." The princess stared at Ekua for some time and then accepted to follow her. When they reached the bush path, Princess Quame was becoming scared because the path was so lonely and scary. She then said to Ekua, "Why would Boswe live in this strange bush path?" Ekua told her to follow her and try not to make any noise. They went further into the bush but could not find anything. The princess said to Ekua, "You said you saw him turn into a half-human and half-snake. So where is his house? Because I can't see anybody here, and I don't think anyone will live in this kind of place." Ekua said to the princess that she's very sure she saw him turn into a half-human and half-snake at that very spot. As they were about leaving, they also heard a strange noise from afar. As they turned, they saw Boswe as a half-human and half-snake. The princess was so scared and shocked. She let out a loud scream. That was when Boswe realized that the both of them had seen him. He chased them both. The princess and her maid Ekua ran for their dear lives. Botwe was not able to meet up with them. He then returned back into the forest. When Eku and the princess reached the palace, the princess was panting and breathing so hard with fear. Ekua calmed her down. When she was calm, she then apologized to Ekua for doubting her and being stubborn. However, Botwe, on the other hand, after realizing that he has been caught, never returned to the palace again, and that was how the princess escaped getting married to a monster. The lesson of this story is always to listen to the advice of your friend and not be stubborn. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe and like our videos. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.